It's on in. How we doing, y'all? It's ZUDECAST 121 here. We are joined by Joaby and Isaiah Guerrero here. How you guys doing?
Doing great.
Doing good.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Welcome on in, bro. Fucking stoked to have you guys on. You guys have both been doing a whole lot of stuff here in the city, making moves, bro. So stoked to have you guys on. Thank you for coming by.
Hell yeah, shit. Fuck it.
That's
dope.
sweet.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Well, thanks. So you guys have started a band together, right, recently. You guys been rocking there. It's called Teo Leo. What's the deal with that? How'd you guys get that going?
Yeah, so this has been like years in the making, pretty much. Like I was telling you guys off camera. It was pretty serendipitous the way that like we got together and shit like that. Yeah, man. We met like at an open mic in 2019. 2019
like that,
was it?
yeah.
Nice. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. And you know, he came up to me and he was like, "Hey, man, you're pretty dope, man. How would you like some live guitar?" And we never really got back like to it until
then nothing happened.
yeah, as things go with
That's how it
artists.
goes. Yeah.
Yeah. But after that, we saw each other at another open mic in the Bay Area. That shit was pretty dope. And he comes up to me. He's like, How would you like to have a band? You know? And he's like, I think the only thing you're missing is a band. And I was like, fuck it, I don't give a fuck, you know?
For the record, I had completely forgotten that I had met him before.
Facts. He just looked familiar, so
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, fuck it, why not? Hell yeah. And he was in the Bay Area at the time.
Yep.
And so when he moved back here, you DM'd me or I DM'd you?
I don't actually remember. It's probably something like that.
Something like that,
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, you know, he was like, how would you like that band? And I was like, sure, fuck it.
Yeah. No,
And
you DM'd me.
I
'cause
DM'd you.
You knew about Valente and Tyler.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
right.
yeah.
That's right, yeah.
You said you had something going on,
Mhm.
and then I was like, yeah, I'll slide through.
Yeah.
And then, like, it didn't happen for another, like, 4 or 5 months.
yeah, it took a
Yeah.
minute.
And then my birthday show is when, like, the band,
Debuted, yeah.
when we all really came together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that shit was dope.
When was that happened?
That was September 29th.
29th,
Yeah. I was trying to remember if we actually did it on the day. We did, and I missed a good chunk of the day because I didn't realize that it was starting earlier.
Oh, shit, yeah.
Like, in my brain, like, you probably had told me plenty of times, too. But, yeah, we got together, played, and, like, shit just sort of started working. Like, you know when you get together with a new group, but, like, the first session is like, oh, yeah, we're all cooking for real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, magical moment.
No, it was cool. And then we just sort of kept meeting up and playing and finding different shit to do. Yeah.
Right.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that's like a common thing where it's like you like a lot of people started hanging out in 2019 a little bit, and then it's just like all that shit happened, and then it's like, all right, here we are back to what we were doing like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
But that's good, man. So how would you guys describe your sound or what the sound you guys are going for?
I think we're definitely like rooted in like hip hop and jazz.
Dope.
You know, all of the instrumentalists in our band are proficient players in a lot of genres and stuff like that. So we also take advantage of that and, you know, incorporate it into our music. You know, we have some punk songs. We have some Latin like cumbia. We have some straight up jazz breaks in between the whole entire thing where you got like type shit going on. You know what I mean? So we try to mix it up.
Hell yeah, dude. That's the cool thing about that's become so much more prominent now of hip hop artists having full backup bands like with them, and it's like that's such a cool thing because you can be so much more like you can expand your sound so much more easily when you have a live band. It's like not as jarring for someone to, like if you just like are playing like a trap beat on a laptop and then you're like, all right, cumbia time. People are like, what? Like they're not ready for it. But if it's
I
like,
think I've heard that.
if it's for like if it's a full band, I feel like there's a little bit more wiggle room with how you can kind of. That's cool, man. Like that's sort of a trend in Sacramento I've been seeing lately, just of a lot of people with doing the hip hop thing, but with live bands where there's like a lot of jazz influences. Obviously, like Lab Rats are blowing up, you know, and like it's cool because it's exposing a bunch of like jazz nerds to the hip hop world and a bunch of hip hop nerds to the jazz world, and like everything's just like coalescing into this big thing, dude. Like Sacramento's on some crazy shit right now.
And they should be related, you know what I mean? So
Yeah,
it's like,
they are related.
Like a return to form almost.
Yeah.
Right.
Because it's like everybody's reinventing the wheel. Like the roots was already around type of thing.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
Thanks.
So, but it's cool because like a lot of the cats that are like the jazzers that are in the hip hop are the folks that have been like, they took a good chunk of time just to really shed the jazz shit.
Right.
And then like now they're out just diving into other shit and like really showing what that looks like in other genres. And
Totally.
yeah, that's the vibe for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I mean, like Isaiah said, it's a return to form. You know, we were talking about it before we started here. It's like, it's always been present. You know,
Yeah.
and it is dope. Like for example, myself, like I was inspired by like Kendrick Lamar and shit.
Yep.
You know, especially with To Pimp a Butterfly. That was
Yeah.
such a compelling piece of music. You know, so
Yeah, because
I
he's had
was-
so many killer musicians
Oh, dude,
on
yeah.
that album, like and
Sure.
producers and everything. Where it's
Facts.
just like, dude, that's like, it's like, oh yeah, just sneak some Thundercat shit in there or
Yeah.
whatever, you know.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about, man.
Well, Kendrick Lamar's been working with Thundercat for like a long time
Yeah,
too. That's
totally.
something that people don't like understand or realize. Is like, particularly about him, is that it's always been there. It's always been there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Thundercat's definitely one of the guys that's brought a lot of that like crazy out there jazz stuff to a very mainstream sort of audience, like which is dope.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, who? Like, oh, sorry. Yeah,
I was just gonna say too, just how long have you guys been making music in general? We talked to you a while back, Isaiah, but we didn't get to put that podcast out. So yeah, just a little backstory, I guess, for the people who haven't really heard of you guys or yet. Or how'd you guys get into it?
Sure. Me first?
Yeah,
I started, I was playing guitar and singing since, like, speaking was probably, like, an endeavor, you know what I mean? So maybe, like, 6 or 7. But I was lucky because my dad played violin and my siblings are all at least, like, passively interested in music and have lessons. That was, like, kind of a thing in the house. So they put us in lessons. I kind of like stopped doing lessons and all that around like middle school, and that's when I was in school doing band and all that type of stuff. And so that's like the instrument background. But once I started getting into college and meeting other musicians and kind of realizing like what things I had overdeveloped and what things I hadn't developed is like I think when music started opening up for me type of thing.
Right.
Yeah. So I guess the answer is like 17, 18 years.
Hell yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
Nice, man. Yeah, that's the cool thing once you start getting out into the world, like you figure out how to become more well-rounded as a musician, where like dude, like lately, like, you know, I've been playing with the Gold Souls, and it's like it's like a lot of like, I mean, I'm taking a lot of solos and stuff, but it's not like all the shit that I was playing before was like way more like on the jazz fusion side of things, where it's just like, all right, a ton of improvising, like taking long ass solos, just like eating. But and then, you know, I started playing more with them, and it's like playing the same parts, and it's like, well, now it's like, all right, I'm learning how to like play like rhythm guitar, and it's like a whole different thing. Staying engaged, but it's like embellishing on things, but like not stepping on anyone's toes, and also like, all right, now you gotta add the fucking two-stepping into it. You know, all right, now let's add some backup vocals. Let's add like, you know, it's like that's where it really gets, because like
that shit fucks me up, honestly.
Dude, that's just hard as hell.
Not I can't, like I feel like I could do it fine if I practice, but like I definitely don't have the ambidextrousness in that way, you know what I mean?
Yeah, to do the dude, like playing guitar and doing vocals at the same time is so fucked up. Like that's why most people, like, I feel like most people who do like the singer-songwriter thing, it's like they're like, I'm just gonna chill on this G chord 16th note pattern, and then I'm gonna have like a rhythm or a lead guitarist that does all the crazy shit.
I can't be virtuosic if I'm also using my voice.
Yeah,
you know what
yeah,
I mean?
totally, dude. I'm like, because that's the thing with our band, where we're like, it's like, all right, we recorded all these new tracks in the studio, and we're like, oh, let's add all these backup vocals and shit, and then it's like, cool, all right, now let's start doing those live, and I'm like, oh, like I did not think about that. You didn't build that song from the start with the idea of like, I'm gonna play this and also be able to sing, like sing in like the response part of a call and response. It's like, oh, I'm singing like the second part of the line, but doing this other shit on. It's like, dude, you gotta like think ahead when you're doing that type of shit. Especially, I mean, so like, are you? So you're also a vocalist, right?
Yeah.
So are you doing like more like are you doing backup vocals or rapping or in this project?
I rap and I sing. In this project, I performed once, so I have like one song, Hayward Rain, that I've performed.
Nice.
I have a bunch of music that I just haven't put out. I've been like kind of more focusing on accompaniment. Or like maybe just that's what gets me a couple dollars. You know what I mean?
Totally, dude. Totally.
But when I get the time, I like to really stretch out and do everything, honestly.
Yeah. Man, I mean, that's definitely. I'm in kind of a similar boat with where it's like, all right, if I play in other people's projects, that's gonna get me paid. You know, it's almost like I'm more of an employee than like, dude. It's like I don't know.
I try to take that serious, so
Yeah.
it's like, you know, that just expends a lot of that time that like I think the solo artist work does.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was looking at, you know, I was writing some shit with some homies like a year ago. I looked at like my old like phone recordings where I was like, fuck, dude, we started writing this song a year ago and I didn't even finish it yet. I was like, God damn it.
I don't think we've like finished a tune that we didn't already have like a prior basis for.
No, I don't think
I
don't think we have.
It's just hard to seal the deal just because it's so easy to get inspired on a new idea.
Totally.
I was gonna say I noticed. I remember that like when I saw you guys a while back, like at the start of the year. Some of your songs are like versions of like your songs, but with a full band accompaniment. What's it been like, kind of like making the change to that? Like, how do you kind of like, I guess, like change a song from like a hip hop song to more of like a rock jazz kind of thing you got going on?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like part of the reason why it sounds more like rock or jazz is just because of the addition of like a acoustic drum. You know what I mean? But for the most part, like the melodies, the root of the melodies, haven't changed, you know. So it's a lot easier. I'll tell you what, it is easier because the band allows for the instrumental to be more fluid. You know what I mean? So if I slow down, that shit slows down with me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
These, like I said, man, these fools are crazy. These guys are crazy for real. So they're like, they'll pick up on stuff. They'll come up with stuff on the fly. Like, way more dynamic of a performance, and I don't feel as like stiff. You know?
Yeah, dude, like, I mean, having beats that are to a click, basically, and there's not a lot of dynamics, and most rap stuff is mastered and mixed super, super loud these days, too, where it's just, like, blasting. It's like, all right, we're going to hit the as loud as we're going to go on Spotify type of shit for, you know, when you listen to studio recordings, and it's like, but when you're playing with an actual band, you can get super dynamic with it. You know, shout out to the Philharmonic. He's just, you know, they won the Tiny Desk the contest, and I'm like, dude,
bro, that band was stacked.
I know, dude. I was just like, yo,
every single like musician could have been their own Tiny Desk.
Totally,
you know?
yeah. Those are all the
dope.
homies on that. Like that was a crazy lineup, dude. I'm proud
super
of those
inspiring.
fools.
Super inspiring. Yeah,
that shit has like 500,000 views already, and there's like so many people being like, wow, I've never heard of this band before. Like, oh, dude, like,
right. His music eats too. Like I was listening to what's it? Fuck You Pay Me.
Oh yeah, dude.
You know. And, I'll be broke, you know. I feel that.
All of the broke songs are the ones from like I fucking feel you, bro. Where he's like, I think I might sell trucks.
Dude. I mean, that's like it really encapsulates the Sacramento experience, man. Like, and the crazy thing about his band and him is that he's always performed to that level. You know, so like seeing him on NPR Tiny Desk just feels right because, bro, anytime that I've seen him, has just been the same thing.
Dude, I know because I opened for him like probably like 4 or 5 years ago, probably like on like it was like a New Year's Eve thing. It was just at like a little spot in Sac. I forget what it was. It was like some like art gallery type of spot. And dude, I mean, he was just like crushing it then because I hadn't even really heard of him before that. And then I like saw him. I was like, holy shit, man! Like he just like destroys on keys. Great, you know, great vocals, great everything. And then, but man, because we had him on the podcast like a few months back. And it's funny because he's talking about just like he came to the podcast in his fucking U-Haul
work shirt,
dude. It's like still doing that thing. It's like,
fire.
And now here they are, and they're like touring. So it's like and now you got the Lab Rats opening for fucking Kamasi Washington,
crazy.
dude. They're doing a gig with I don't know if this is actually announced yet, but whatever. They're doing a gig with fucking Tower of Power soon.
They put that on Instagram. I saw it. I thought.
Damn.
Yeah, dude. I was like, whoa. That's one of those. Well, dude, Tower of Power, they fuck around at like those like private winery like vineyard type of things. There's like that one spot over in like what is it, Clarksville or Clarksburg or whatever, like on the river.
Yeah,
they do that gig out there. That's pretty crazy.
Those players are deep too. They can get around on a lot of different type of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally, dude. Yeah, Tower Power is amazing, dude. You guys ever fuck with Cold Blood? You know Cold Blood?
I'm not familiar.
Dude, that's another like Bay Area funk, like
Hell yeah.
like that's like because they started in like 69 or 70 or maybe something
hell
like that.
yeah.
And dude, like their singer, she's still rocking too. Lydia Pence, she's nasty, but like it was funny because we were playing a show out in the Bay Area a couple weeks ago, and then like the keyboardist from Cold Blood was like at that show, and he was just like hanging out. And he's like, dude, I played with Cold Blood for like 16 years, and he's like, oh, you guys are killing. I was like, you're a micro celebrity to me. Like, dude, I was like, I would never recognize you, but now that you say that, I'm like, what? Like,
what's it at Jets? Eric Moore came by.
yeah,
Hey.
dude, local celebrity Eric Moore, dude.
Right, he got to play with like, was it Bobby Brown?
Yeah, dude, Eric Moore's played with a ton of cats.
Hella people, bro.
He
And
played with
then-
Suicidal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
ST.
Yep.
And he was just jamming, like, you know, it was hella, like,
Yeah.
he's just like the rest of us. And what I mean by that is he did like a ripping set. And then I remember a drummer came up and kicked him off after one song. And it's like, that's Eric Moore. But
Damn, that's crazy.
Sacramento, nobody's different.
Yeah,
Facts.
right.
Oh, yeah. What about you, Wabi? How'd you get into rapping and making music? Because you produce as well, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you know, music's always been important in my life and shit like that. My family, they're from Veracruz, so like southern coastal of Mexico and stuff like that. So we were always listening to cumbia, reggaeton, salsa, bachata, merengue, all that shit. And my brother was a young man here in Sacramento during his high school years. So, you know, he would be playing hip hop, rock, jazz, whatever the hell. You know, and my sister as well, who was also a high schooler here at this time. You know, I always gravitated to, you know, what my older siblings were playing. So I was always like interested in it. You know what I mean? But really, how it started for me was me and my homie Michael, who is also with me in a rap group called Sac Bass.
Shout out Sac Bass.
Yeah, shout out
Sac Bass. Shout out Yeti in the building here, too.
Oh
Yeah.
God, man, yeah! Shout out all these folks, man. I've known these fools for a long time. But so Mike and I, we would just sit around, smoke and shit like that, and freestyle. You know, so it was just YouTube beats and stuff.
Yep.
And you know, I was just, you know, he was like, "Fuck it, bro, go ahead, try it, bro." I was like, "How do you fucking do it?" He's like, "Just do it, bro. Just try to make it rhyme." Yeah, I just kept doing it. We would just be smoking with the homies, and the homies were like, "Hey, man, maybe you should write a song. You know, maybe like we should, you know, record some of this stuff." And it evolved from there, from us just smoking and bullshitting to our homie has a studio at home.
Oh, yeah.
He's been interested for a while. That was Yeti.
Mhm.
Yeti was like, "Hey man, you're a rapper?" And I was like, "Yeah, bro, I rap." And he's like, "That's what's up, bro. Me too." And you know, that's how we linked up. Correction, we linked up because we were a part of like this theater group and stuff like that.
Oh, really?
It
Theater
wasn't like,
kids.
No, you know, yeah, for sure, 100%. I joined this theater group that was like, it wasn't like any like theater that you guys are thinking of. Like, we didn't get scripts, we didn't get like, there was no soundtrack. We would like create structures out of our bodies, doing something called like agro yoga.
What the fuck?
We would like be the soundtrack. So like someone would do a bass layer, right, and be like boom, 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 and then somebody else would come in with a harmony, like you know, and you know, sometimes they would let me beatbox, you know, because I wanted to add some percussion to their whole melodic nonsense. You know, so that's how we linked up. So it was like the summer of 16, 17, something like that, when we started really going to Yeti's place. And we were like in this porch at this RV park that he was living at the time. It was fucking hot. It was sweaty. We were like drinking and smoking and shit like that. Through that is how I learned how to produce as well. Producing and mixing.
What DAW did you start on?
FL, man.
Yeah.
FL. Nice.
I'm an FL baby, man. Fruity Loops, man. I use Logic Pro now.
Still,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Word.
Yeah, but yeah, we just kept doing that. I started inviting the homies. You know, I told the guys, I was like, hey, like we're actually kind of decent at this. why don't we just like, we're already rapping together. Why don't we start a like rap group? You know, we came across the name Sack Bass, and you know the rest is history, man. So I would say like 2015, 2014 is when 14, 15 is when I started just freestyling, bullshitting with the homies, and then 17, 18 is when we started recording for real.
Nice.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah,
I was just listening to Sack Bass 11. That shit's pretty good, bro. I mean,
Thanks,
I was
man.
really digging it. I saw you guys when you played at the Sack Ramp at that like
Sack
skate park.
Ramp.
Yeah, that shit was tight. Yeah, and it was
Yeah.
cool because like the window of the ramp like went like right onto the stage basically. So I was like watching it from on the ramp inside. I don't know.
Shit.
But
That's hella cool.
yeah, man, that shit's tight, bro. What's it like working with other like having a rap group too? Because you guys like coordinate the fucking bars out and stuff like Beastie Boys style.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes we do some of that back and forth shit, but like from an early point, our emphasis was performing. We wanted to have a good show. We wanted it to be engaging. You know what I'm saying? We wanted it to be dope. So I was like, hey man, we're not doing backing vocals. We're not rehearsing. You know what I'm saying? So we would spend time in Yeti's backyard and shit like that, just going over our lines so that when it was time to perform without backing vocals, we would have that shit popping, you know?
Yeah.
Not a single word missed.
Yeah,
That's always appreciated, dude, because like sometimes you go to rap shows and you're like, bro, they're just playing over the MP3.
Right.
Man.
It's a glorified listening party, bro. That's
Man.
my biggest critique of like people who are just starting out rapping and shit. Like, I don't want to hear your song with your like live vocals on top of it. It sounds horrible.
That's crazy. That's like, I mean, it's like you go to karaoke and it doesn't even do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And
like,
exactly.
That's a good point.
you know,
Exactly.
you don't. They don't have fucking Bon Jovi sitting underneath you. They're not
No.
gonna carry you through it.
100%. And like, you also miss like an element of like showmanship.
Yeah.
And also like, what are you there to like feature, like to show? Like, I'm not really impressed with your fucking MP3, bro. I want to hear you perform your tracks.
Dude, I remember one time we saw Lil B at like, what was that? It was at Bill Graham, I think.
That's legendary.
Yeah.
And like, it was a dope show, but like, it had kind of that same thing where it's like all of it was just like they're just playing over the back, like the tracks.
Yeah.
With the, I mean, maybe it was just like a problem with like the MC, like DJ, whatever, didn't have it together.
Some people be tied to they like tracks. Like that's also
Yeah,
what I've noticed
facts.
too. Is like some folks really feel like they have to have their tracks when they're performing.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing if it's like, oh, you got some like backup vocals that are
Right.
like doing harmonies or whatever, and you don't have a whole like band with you. It's like I get
Sure.
that,
Right.
but it's like if you're just gonna have like the studio recording underneath you, it's like,
Yeah.
man, what are people like paying for? You know what
Right.
I'm saying?
I think the only reason that you can get away with it with the like larger artists, like really large artists doing shit over their own tracks is because like they have the budget to have it attenuated for those rooms. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
like there's
Yeah.
also the problem where you're playing at an art gallery and your beat is playing and you haven't really mixed any of your like lows for that room. And it's
Yeah,
concrete
yeah.
walls and then
Oh,
it's just
dude, that's crazy.
Yeah.
you can't hear the words or something like that. Like
Dude, that's tough. I mean, I feel like just bad sound is like the bane of most musicians' existence, dude.
yeah.
Oh my god.
Dude. I hate it when a venue doesn't have like a monitor, a self monitor.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, can people even hear me?
Right.
Like, I'm not even sure I'm saying the right words.
For real.
I'm fucking up.
Dude, that's crazy. What are some
Yeah.
of the like? All right, what's like? Think of like what were like some of the worst, and then or alternatively some of the best gigs you've had. Without
ever.
you don't gotta name names, but just like what's like the worst, like the worst,
Name
like what's like a
names.
night name? What's a
names.
nightmare
Names.
gig?
Wait, that we've done or that we've
Or-
seen?
Either way, I guess.
Oh,
or
okay.
yeah.
Sure.
I mean, just any show where like the audio, wow,
Yeah.
audio is just off.
The
You know,
audio.
That's just fucking. I'm singing in Spanish. Audio.
audio?
Yeah, fucking.
Sí, sí.
See, no. If it's fucking off, dude, everything else is off. You just
Yeah.
feel so off kilter. I'm saying off 4 times now.
Yeah.
Fucking. Yeah.
Bad sound will fucking do it.
Oh, yeah.
Dude. Or just like random tech problems. What's up?
My worst gig was like one of my first recitals I did as a kid, And I tell my students this one too, because it was like, so I'm a little anxious kid, and then I get up on stage and I start singing, and then eventually I realize that there's a bunch of people looking at me, so then the anxiety starts. Yep. But like I'm maybe like a quarter of the way into the tune, and it's a classical song that's not in English or something, so I don't even know what the fuck I'm singing. To be honest. I'm like 7, and then my mom is there. My mom's really proud, and so she's just a proud crier type of person. So she's looking at me and she's sobbing. And, I am a little kid, and so I'm like, my mom is crying. That's not right. So I start crying too. But like my mouth is still singing the lyrics. Yeah. It's just tears coming down my face, and everybody else is just staring at either my mom or me. So nothing's ever been that bad. That's why I feel really comfortable on stage, to be honest.
See, that's why it's good. It's good to get that stuff out of the way early on.
Nah, for real.
Yeah, because then you're like, well, it can't be worse than that.
See, that's why I'm into bullying, because, just get your traumas out when you're young, you know what I mean?
There you go.
Just playing, don't do bullying.
Internal fortitude.
There's a little bit of truth to that. No, but like, I mean, in a way, like, sometimes it is best to get that shit out the way when you're a kid. Obviously, it's like tough, but then you're like, it builds character.
That's right.
Like by the time you're an adult, you're like, I've already dealt with fucking these assholes, all my life. Like I don't give a fuck anymore.
I mean, shit. I mean, I think like some similar things should be like approached with like music. Like when you're just starting off, you're a kid. You gotta have a few bad shows.
Make
to,
garbage.
Yeah, exactly. And
just have fun.
And while you're doing it, don't take it too hard. Don't take it too personal when people say you suck, because they're gonna say that. And people are just gonna say that in general. But like, just keep working on your shit, and you'll eventually come out with something that is appealing to somebody.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's it's almost better for like, because sometimes the kids just have that brutal honesty because they don't have the social conditioning to be like, don't fucking say that to them. But it's like, be like, why do you look like that or whatever? Just like not just completely oblivious to like why that's mean.
Yeah.
But sometimes they hit you with the fucking truth bomb, and you're like, fuck, dude. But like sometimes that's what you need to hear, or like sometimes you need to hear like you suck, or like for someone to explain why something you're doing sucks. Because sometimes you have the opposite problem where people are just too nice and they like never they're like, that was great, and it's like, but really like, or they're like going off and talking shit somewhere else, but then it will never like give you any actual constructive feedback. And that's the worst when you're an artist, when you're like, I feel like I was like, am I on crazy pills? Like, because I feel like I'm doing this and this wrong, but everybody's like, no man, you're doing great. But it's like when I leave the room, they're like, yeah, you really got to work on this fucking shit, man. Like it's like sometimes you need people to kind of just get that out the way.
Yeah, facts. I mean, constructive criticism is the best, especially when and it's also like hard for people to tell you that you need to work on something. You know what I mean? So
that's a good point.
You also don't want to be the bearer of bad news, right?
Right.
You want to be like, hey man, so listen, this is what sucks. This is how I think you can improve. Sometimes people don't take it too well.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
You gotta, it's a healthy balance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
facts.
I definitely got a lot of interesting comments as I was learning to draw, because I didn't really learn how to draw until I was in my 20s, really. So like my whole life I was like, I suck at drawing, and so like I don't know. Knowing when you try a new thing though, you're like, historically I've sucked at this. But then now you're trying to learn, like, I don't know. I feel like I kind of overcame some of the anxiety because I'm like, I know I suck, but I'm only getting better from here,
Yeah.
That's what it's all about, man.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, have the humility to learn, Don't get stuck in your patterns, especially when it comes to, like, drawing or something like that. They have this thing called symbol drawing. So, right, you have a successful drawing, like, of a hand, let's say, in a certain pose. And then all of a sudden you see... Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And I mean, I'm sure it's the same way with, like, instrumentation or like rapping. You have like a certain cadence that you like to do, or certain phrasing that you like to do. So have the humility to tell yourself, hey man, maybe I should switch it up.
Yeah,
right.
Maybe learn one more thing.
Right.
Yeah,
that is good. They say don't fall into like habits, because you'll see yourself like do like certain things over and over again, because that's just like what your instincts do. And you'll try to like intentionally go out of your way to do something different.
It's tough not to fall into habits with music or just art in general, though, because it's like it is such a repetitive thing. When you're like, if you're playing the same songs day in and day out, you're like, damn, now all I know how to do is this. Yeah. Where it's like you have to like push yourself if you want to like I don't know, expand out into different territories.
Yeah.
Dude, but like we were talking about with like the bad sound or like whatever, like, dude, the fucking there's some just nightmare gigs where there's just some like technical problem that you don't even figure out until like the very end. Like a month or two ago, I was playing a gig, and I realized, you know, like you have to like strike the set. You know, we did our sound check. There was another band coming up, you know, after us, so we had to like strike the set for them to do the sound check, right? And then I put my pedal board away, and then I realized I must have pressed like the bypass button on my like Line 6 Helix or whatever, and so I realized I got back up, I started playing, and I was like, man, my guitar sounds kind of fucking tinny as shit right now. It sounds all like high passed as fuck. What's going on? I was like, this is the sound guy. It was only like a 45-minute set,
right?
And I didn't realize until like the second to last song that my wah effect was just like turned on the whole time, but like maxed out. So it was just like a super sharp pump, like at like 1,000 hertz. I was like, dude, no.
Like, I love and hate pedals so much.
Dude, it's fucked, man. Especially, well, I don't know. You rock a lot of like, you got a lot of pedals these days.
I have like, kind of. I don't know. I feel like you can always have more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like a lot of the pedals that I have are like just like a simple compressor or an EQ pedal or something like that. But I have a couple that are like one that turns it into like a voltage control type of like, what's the word? Like, it turns it into an oscillator, basically.
Oh, interesting.
And like, you can fuck with it, like, with a normal VCO and...
Oh, that's tight. Like, kind of like a synth...
ADSR
sort of thing,
all that
yeah.
type of shit.
Oh, that's cool.
I don't really understand it, but...
Yeah. Well, dude, sometimes that's the best, where you just be like... And
I just record it, and then
just makes all
like,
sorts of crazy shit.
This will be a thing on a beat. We'll just see what happens.
Yeah. Dude, there's so many wacky fucking pedals now, dude, where there's like the fart pedal.
The fart pedal, dude.
Fucking, you ever seen that shit?
Yeah.
It's so
that was the first
stupid.
thing that came to my mind when you said that.
There is the fucking...
It turns them all into, like, pitched farts.
The fart pedal's kind of...
That's pretty dope.
The fart pedal isn't as cool as I think it could be. They need to do, like, a fart pedal V2 that has, like, some improvements. I feel like I should write them a letter.
Yeah.
Pull it up.
The fart pedal, dude.
Pull up the fart pedal.
I'll pull up the fart pedal. Because it's not actually pitched, you know? It's just...
It just makes
It just kind of just gives you just...
It just makes it fart.
Sweaty butt cheek.
It does
farts.
make that thing fart, dude. Hold up. Let me pull it up.
I wonder-
This just smells like Teen
we-
Spirit.
How could we use that?
Smells like Teen
musically?
Spirit.
Yeah, let's pull it up, Sila.
Just treat it like percussion.
Hell yeah, bro.
Let's see here.
I'm open to it.
Doesn't sound very farty to me, bro.
That's an actual pedal that does
Pretty
that.
dope.
I
fuck
love
with
stupid
it.
shit like that. What the hell?
Yeah.
See, that'd be.
But
I see what you mean though, where it's like it should be, it should be like each tone should be
Yeah.
a fucking.
It's not- it
doesn't
individually
actually-
pitched.
I want
fart,
a
yeah.
major 7.
Oh no,
of
I think
farts.
this is the new one.
Okay,
This is the
let's-
new one. It actually is pitched. Let me plug
Let's
this
see-
shit in.
let's see, yeah.
Look.
They made a cat guitar pedal that meows when you play into it.
The
my
harp is
God.
busted. She's dope.
Stop! This is the Meowdulator from
Meowdulator.
B's Music Shop, and it actually tracks really well on guitar.
Oh, it's over once I get
And it
that.
turns any synth
Y'all gonna hate me at
into
a Sunday
cat
We need
session.
that.
She got a
This is
dick
fucking
keyboard.
They made a cat guitar
they were
pedal
dicks.
that
Oh yeah,
meows.
this chick, Emily Harpist. She's like a really dope harp player, but she like,
Her harp has pickups. That's
dude, yeah, but dude, here's the thing is like her harp has like not one but 4 pickups on it. So it's like
like different EQs basically.
yeah, so like one of them picks up like the low range, so
Yeah.
it's like she was doing all sorts of crazy shit with it, where it's like you got the bass lines with like a fuzz thing going on, and you got
Sure.
all like this crazy delay on the high end. I was like, whoa, dude, that's fucking, it's
Yeah.
out there. The technology is crazy. Now you
Nah,
got
for
like
real.
everybody's got pedals now, dude. If you're like even like horn players,
I saw Mickey ripping on
Yeah,
some
man.
pedals at a Sunday session a while ago.
he's
It
got
just
like the
sounded great.
full like harmonizer thing going on.
I'm trying to get an octave up or a harmonizer. I
Yeah.
think that'd do me a lot of good.
Those are great. Those are great for I mean, dude, like the octave up, I fucks with the octave up where you can change it to like be any
Yeah.
interval,
Yeah.
whatever. Like if you have that, like
on
If you just do
fifths,
set it to like a fifth, dude,
thirds,
just makes
yeah.
everything sound like crazy, like Alan Holdsworth shit,
Yeah.
where it's just like super like I'm like, oh, dude, I would never be able to play all these fucking
Some
11th
acid
chords.
shit,
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's like you can make like total like drum and bass sounding shit. I'm like, that's the fucking jam. I got that shit. I have that shit ready and active on my Helix to use at any time, and I'd never use it though live.
It's
I'm
a
just
preset
like,
on my Ableton too.
but I'm like, if you ever hear me during sound check, I'm just doing that for
ripping
like
some wild
45
shit.
minutes. They're like, get off the fucking stage, dude. But I'm just like, no, man.
This
I
isn't
gotta,
allowed.
I gotta play these poly chords, bro.
Got to, man.
That's the
got
way,
to.
dude.
Hell yeah. Yeah,
Shit,
let's
dude.
check out some of Wabi's art too, real quick.
Oh, yeah,
'cause I got
dude.
some
Yeah, cool.
questions, bro.
Oh shit, you got my art up there?
Yeah, go to
Oh,
the,
yeah, pull it up.
let's
The,
go to your
uh,
story here.
Oh, yeah.
Shit, yeah.
Let's do a quick little cruise through,
Oh,
bro.
yeah.
Yeah, you make some crazy shit, bro. It's like multimedia kind of collagey stuff going on.
Yeah.
Like, break it down. What do you do?
That's dope.
So it starts off with a spray painted like base, the canvas. As you can
shit.
see, like I got I just randomly mark it
bong
with
next
the
to it?
that is a bong that's holding up the camera. Yeah, hell
That's
yeah.
smart, dude. The
Yeah.
tripod.
Nice.
And as you can
Nice.
tell, I used it before I started
Life
recording.
imitates art.
You said what was I?
Life imitates art.
That's right. That's right.
Damn.
Free toe pick. Yeah, you see that toe. But yeah, so I'll start off with like
What
spray
happened to
paint.
Topic?
It was a limited time offer.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so you know,
Oh, I see.
You see what I'm
Little
saying?
process here, yeah.
Just put whatever the fuck. That's Martini right there in the background. Shout out Martini. That's my little baby. But then after that, I wait for that to
your
dry.
bike?
Huh?
Is that your bike?
Yeah, the bike. Yeah, the wheels actually. Just the
Just the
one wheel.
wheels are yours?
Yeah.
That's
But fucking yeah. So do that. Make sure to do the sides.
Oh, yep.
Artists, make sure you do the sides. Okay.
That's true.
And then I cut out the motherfucking shits, put them bitches on there, in a way that is appealing to the eye and allows me to then draw on top of them, with like acrylic markers.
Whose
and
baby
shit
was
like
that?
That was some white lady's baby.
That was some Getty Images, baby.
National Geographic, actually. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, she's a nice lady.
I hope so, man. Shit.
So-
But yeah,
So you use like Mod Podge and stuff to like podge it on there? Or?
that's right.
Did
Yeah.
you read any of those National
I
Geographic?
did actually while I was cutting them and stuff like that. That's actually funny enough. That's how I got some of the inspiration for these.
Nice.
These are collages meant to, I'm talking about a variety of themes here. I have a political kick to that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Dismantling the patriarchy.
Hey,
This was for
album
your
art.
last album art, yeah, too.
Yeah. I also,
Heart,
That's sick as hell, dude.
heart. Wait,
yeah,
heart,
yeah.
heart?
What?
Dart heart?
Heart Attack Ice Dart.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also painted the heart on that bitch.
Nice, dude.
Yeah, I was fucking around with some acrylic, but yeah, no, most of it is the doodles on top are acrylic marker, like Poscas, Molotov, something like that. Those are good ones.
Molotovs.
Yeah.
How long does it usually take you to like finish a piece or start a piece? You like batch make them kind of in that way too, or
Sometimes depends on the mood, depends on my like inspiration and shit like that. If I'm like extremely inspired, it'll happen in less than an hour. If I'm like trying to formulate a concept, like that'll take longer. You know, I've had paintings that have taken days. You know what I'm saying? Other ones that have taken like weeks, months. It just depends on the mood.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hell yeah, dude, your stuff's dope. I saw it when it was at the gallery, and
The
you had that big
gallery.
old piece. Yeah, you had like a whole bunch of your pieces there. That was dope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The gallery. That was cool. That was my first time having my art out on exhibition in a legit gallery. And like, I forgot who it was. No, it was a couple of people. The people who were running the gallery. They were like, "Oh, so what other places have you like, exhibited your art?" And I was like, "This is my first time."
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh shit, dude, dope."
Yeah,
we'd
dude.
expected you to like, based off of the quality of your art, like we thought that it was like this was not your first time. I was like, "Nope, this is my first time. What do I do?"
What
yeah,
are,
man.
what are some of your goals for your art? Like, do you have anything, any like kind of journey you want to get to?
Yeah, I mean, art-wise, I mean, just keep producing art. I've never stopped. Just, I don't know, wherever it takes me. I would like to do more galleries, of course, more exhibitions. I do, like, hand-painted clothing. I I could design a stage. I don't know, man. There's no limit to like what I feel like I can achieve with my art. It's just a matter of putting my mind to it.
Hell yeah, man. I like that. Fuck yeah. You mentioned too, you got some political themes, bro, in your music and in your art, bro.
100%.
What's the vibe? You got a little bit of a what's going on?
A little bit of a vibe, yeah. Huh?
They're fascist.
They're fascist. I see. Communism, man. Communism, man.
Yeah.
Wow. Red fascism. No, man. Yeah. Just I think that like that's the best thing we could do, man. I want like people to be treated equally. There's a lot of like issues in terms of like race, gender, sexuality, things like that I feel like people don't try not to think about because they would much rather ignore it. That's why I make such an effort to talk about it in my art. It's not like a cynical thing where I'm trying to like just make money off of it. I mean, money is not the issue. I've always been poor.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I could live off of fucking food stamps and the rest of all that shit that prevents poor people from dying. But and if I can make a living off of my art, that's great. But I think that there's like we're put on this earth to do something. You know what I'm saying? Or you could choose the nihilist route and be like, fuck it, nothing matters, man. But that's bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like and at the end of the day, people who say that don't really mean it.
Right.
You know what I mean? You gotta find you gotta find a reason to live. So I try to inspire people to think about the issues that they have, the issues that their loved ones have, and to do something about it. Because sometimes people don't even know that things are a problem, or even know how to like address it or fix it, or to think about it. You know what I'm saying? You find somebody that's like grew up in the Midwest and has never been exposed to concepts
Black
such
people.
as exactly. So it's like that's fucked up, man. People should be more mindful, and I think like art is a great tool, a vehicle of spreading that message and also easing people's like suffering.
Right.
You don't want people to feel like they're alone. That's part of the reason why they are like so reactionary. You know what I mean? It's like they think that they're alone in this world. You're not.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Cool.
How would you say? I don't know. I mean, I struggle with this shit all the time because everything's fucked up. Everything's all
Facts.
fucking crazy all over the
Facts.
fucking world, and it's just like, it's like, all right, we're all just kind of put here, like, we're all born in the fucking 90s or 2000s or whatever, and it's just like, all right, all this shit was all ancient history. This has all been done up until now, and it's like we're all just kind of here existing. It's like, how do you avoid, or not avoid, but how do you like deal with the like, because a lot of people do just kind of go down that nihilistic route where it's like most people that are nihilistic, I mean, I guess nihilism isn't always necessarily a negative thing because there's like different kind of approaches you can get out of it. You could be like, nothing matters and that's why I'm gonna do all these positive things, or be a piece of shit. So you can kind of take that two ways, but like
that's how you deal with
That's
it.
why I'm
the
Yeah.
meaningless of life.
where it's like how I mean, because that's really that's one of the main things that gets me through just like all that. I'm just like, well, everything's fucked up, but it's like I'm doing my thing. I'm like, I'm playing music, I'm getting up on a stage, I'm watching all these wooks in the forest dance around and fucking smoke joints, and I'm like, I think I'm doing a positive thing here. I'm like, this is it's like I'm not gonna fucking tear down this system, like, as much as we'd all love to, make all these changes and do things like that. It's like, it's, to me, I'm like, dang, I can just affect things in this small little positive way, just like create a party.
Yeah, I
create
mean,
a good time.
Yeah, facts. I mean, that's needed though. You know what I'm saying? Like, we shouldn't, even though life is shitty and the conditions suck, we shouldn't, we don't have to just like, what would you say? Stay in that misery. There's another word for it. Fuck, I forgot.
Wallow.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, you don't have to,
Shit.
like.
Piss.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
At the same time. But like, creating a sense of community is the first step. You know what I mean? Like, part of the reason why things are so fucked up is because, like I said, we think we're alone. We think that no one can understand our suffering. Yeah, and it's like we're all human beings. So, you know, like you were saying, we all shit, we all piss,
We do.
we all fart, we all bleed if we're
Not
cut.
me, dude.
If you get sad, oh, well, hey man,
I don't fart either,
Oh,
actually.
my,
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
my bad.
Girls don't fart, dude.
Girls don't fart.
It's
That's
true.
right, man. That's right. No, but like, you know, that right there is just a basis of understanding that we can work off of.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if someone in your family dies, you're gonna feel sad about it. Someone else, their family member dies, they're gonna be sad.
Yeah.
You know, so starting with a sense of community, acknowledging our like struggles is like a
Yeah.
good way to get that shit rolling, man,
True.
and avoid a sense of nihilism. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And like to that point, like ways you can do that in SAC, y'all should slide a neighbor program.
Neighbor program.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
okay.
can get some free groceries there.
Oh,
if you
nice.
go
Hell yeah.
Monday, Friday. They also do community learnings where they just get you in touch with folks that know a lot of shit about shit, but not shit. Like, you know,
Dope
last
shit.
time they had somebody that was from Cuba, or not from Cuba, that were in Cuba, just talking about like ways you can participate in trips just to see what Cuba's like.
Yeah.
Cuba has zero homelessness.
Right. That's great.
You can go to the hospital. You can eat food, all that type of shit. You know what I mean?
Right,
You
because
can-
they like just ended the embargo and the sanctions and
Yeah.
all that stuff like
When?
only a few years ago, or right?
It was
Hell
with
no.
Obama, wasn't
Wasn't
it?
it?
No, Obama, like,
Obama
did
made
some,
it
like-
so we could travel to Cuba.
Or maybe it was the trade. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Not the trade shit. The trade shit.
No, wait, was that Trump?
I think Trump reinstated it, or something. I don't fucking know.
I don't know.
The
I
point
don't know.
is, it's
I
still
remember
under
I saw
embargo.
like fucking
shit
like
was
Jay
going-
Leno or someone be like, "Oh, I'm in Cuba. I'm looking at these cars or whatever." Like I don't know. It's crazy in Cuba because they have like all the like old school. They got like the weird like Soviet whips,
Yeah.
dude,
Yeah.
or like old classic cars
Lot of
because they
vintage
just
shit,
because they just don't have any new shit. Or
I
just
mean,
weren't
a lot of the
that-
new shit is made to fail too.
Totally.
You know what I mean? Like, I was just recently reading that the reason that they do like touchscreen cars is partially because they're just cheaper to make,
Oh,
but
yeah.
not because they're more efficient or useful. And there are multiple problems that can come from that, but it's more efficient
Yeah.
for the people that are trying to hoard their wealth.
Planned obsolescence.
Yeah,
Mm.
planned
Dude,
obsolescence absolutely
dude.
is
The
a
new
fucking thing.
well, that's how it all fucking is. I mean, it even used to be like
Why
I
are
mean,
guitars even expensive, truthfully?
right. I mean,
Yeah.
well, but at the same time, it's like the access to cheap guitars has never they've never been more.
But why would it
abundant.
ever be expensive, I guess is what I mean.
I mean, something that was made by hand that was like, actually like they take their time with that shit, I
That'd be
think
more
it deserves
reasonable.
more, it's like a higher asking point than something that was made on a CNC, just like made in a factory and, built for super cheap and just not, cheap parts and cheap
Sure.
wood and all that shit. So, I mean, I get that. It's like there's nothing wrong with having expensive shit or nice shit if it's like something that's really well made. It's like it's the same
Sure.
with like, if you want to buy like a nice pair of like work boots or something, you can go and get some shit from Walmart for like $50 that's
Sure.
gonna shit out on you or whatever. They're gonna fall apart. You're gonna drop a fucking anvil on your toe or whatever.
Right.
But or you could buy the fucking $300 pair of boots, but that shit'll last you for fucking ever.
That's
but
true.
that's what's cool about like a lot of like like thrifting. I mean, thrift stores have gone to fucking shit lately, but like a lot of that you go to like you can get like antique stuff, vintage stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
same thing with cars too. Right now,
Yeah.
used cars are like through the roof because nobody's buying new cars. I
Yeah.
mean, it's like they can only get away with that greedy shit for so long. Where it's
Sure.
just like, bro, people are. It's like who's gonna pay $80,000 for a fucking Chevy Silverado?
Right.
Like it's ridiculous. Like, but it's like, or you could get one that's like 20 or 30 years old, and find some cheap parts at a fucking junkyard. And it's like there are ways around a lot of that shit. But
Right.
I don't know. It's weird, man, because like it's like things are like in a way the most fucked up they've ever been, but at the same time there's the most opportunities and the most like ways around it. Where it's like I was talking about, how a lot of musicians and artists in general, they're like, oh man, it's such bullshit that like us musicians, like we not only do we have to like make music, we have to write all this shit, we have to book all the shows, and now we have to be like create our own like little
Content
micro
creator.
celebrity content creator
I
type of shit.
I just say don't do it.
Yeah, and it's like in a way, but it's like, but before there was Instagram or whatever, that
Right.
just wasn't even a thing.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
before
why I say don't
MySpace,
do it.
it wasn't even a thing. But it was, but again, then it's like that wasn't an option. You had to be selected by the fucking radio, by a record label or
Yeah,
whatever.
by,
But it's like now you
local
can kind of
organization.
right. You could, but now it's like you can kind of carve your own path.
Sure.
More, and like there's
Certainly.
more ways around that shit. So it's like I don't know. It's kind of a double-edged sword.
Yeah, I mean, at the same time that technology is more accessible, the companies take advantage of that even more. You know what I mean? Like Spotify recently was brought that up as an excuse as to why they're not gonna pay artists more and shit like that. There was like the CEO put out like a tweet talking about, having access to equipment is close to nothing. And it's like, bro, you know how long I was saving to fucking purchase my laptop, bro? Like hella long.
Right.
That shit didn't happen till last year.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And you can't just walk into a studio. You got to pay some money. You know?
For sure.
And just any money at all is an accessibility issue.
That kind of comes to a question too that I kind of had on like a communist thing. I see it a lot kind of when people who kind of talk about communism stuff. They say there's no such thing as skilled labor. Do you believe that there's no such thing as skilled labor? Because I personally think that there's some like knowledge, know-how stuff. Like I don't know how to do audio engineering, so to me, I consider that could be like a skilled labor.
I think
type
there's
of
no
thing.
such thing as unskilled.
Unskilled labor.
unskilled.
Okay, my bad.
Yeah, because I mean, to that point, it's like even the McDonald's worker who's working efficiently at stacking those burgers, with enough experience, they're going to be faster.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And part of like the excuse that capitalists put to not pay you as much is they're saying that, oh, well, we've simplified it down to where you just have to press 2 buttons. But motherfucker, I'm the best at pressing these 2 buttons. You know, like some people really take pride in like their work, and you know they should, because they're creating value. You know what I'm saying? And what the capitalist class does is it tries to alienate you as much as they can from the value that you produce. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, those 2 buttons, man, that's still generating like 20, 30, 50 times, 100 times more value for the owner than it is for the worker.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like, these are fucked up ass systems, man. And, that's right. There's no such thing as unskilled labor.
But they're paying $20 now for like
$20.
You know what I mean? So it might actually, I think this communism shit's overrated.
Yeah.
Well, now it's they're paying the kiosks $20 an hour now. They're fucking they got the robots flipping the burgers, and I'm like, I mean, it's kind of, that's also kind of like a double-edged sword, and it's like I don't think
What is?
or like
technology,
or it's just like, all right. I mean, before, there was, like, modern, like, farming equipment, that shit took way more people to do. It was hell long. So it's like, on one end, it's like, you get this massive improvement. It's like, if you had to dig a fucking trench, and you're like, well, this used to take 100 guys to do this with shovels, but then it's like, well, but then if you come in with a fucking, machine that can just do the job of 100 people, then you're like, damn, you just destroyed 100 jobs. But, like, also, now it's like those 100 people like don't have to do that now. So it's like kind of, there's like a weird balance to it. But that's like, dude, I mean, because I do DoorDash and shit. And it's like, talk about fucking,
exploitation.
For sure. Like, that's just gnarly, dude. But like, it's like there's some upsides to it, right? It's like you make your own hours, blah, blah, blah. I just fucking sold my car. Just took that shit into the shop. I've been driving that thing into the fucking ground. For sure. But but at the same time, it's like I go to fucking, 12 different Taco Bells and KFCs or whatever in a day. And it's like, dude, like when they made that switch to the $20, it was pretty much like an instantaneous thing where it's just like, the AI is at the Carl's Jr. window now. It's the robot. And now it's like the kiosk. It's like, where it's crazy where it's just like, like I was in a Taco Bell and I witnessed this where it's like an old guy walks up to the kiosk and he's like, how the fuck do I use this machine? How do I like customize my order or whatever? And he's like, excuse me, young man, can you come over here? And then it's like the guys like come from the back and he's like, so you just have to press this button and then go here. And then he's like, oh, all right, thanks. And then he walks away and the employee walks away and then he's like, wait, actually, how do I do this? And he has to walk back out. And I'm like, bro, you could have just took his fucking order by then. But it's like, because it's not even the food that's worth it that much to Taco Bell. It's they're like, you need to log in with the app. McDonald's wants you to log in with the app. And you might think it's like, oh, it's just the app. It's going to save me a couple bucks. I'm going to get a free medium fry with my whatever. But then it's like, no, dude. The app is what it's all about. It's like they're like we must know your data. We must know your order.
Well, that's a whole nother thing too. How they like, with the development of technology, like you are like someone that they're constantly trying to sell shit to, you know. So I kind of see what you're saying there too, where it's like collecting data, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that touches on a great point though. Is like technology is not the problem. The issue is not like AI. The issue is not like advancements in development of society. That's dope. That's shit that we should strive to continuously do.
Yeah.
The issue is who has control over these systems, over these technology.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like you guys are talking about, like, this app is designed to collect data from you.
Yeah.
It's supposed to like learn how to take your order more efficiently. You know what I'm saying? Figure out what your preferences are, so that it can sell you more stuff. But like put in the hands of like a community, for example, like. Maybe it could help with like, I don't know, somebody's health or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
And not like in a way that they're trying to sell you more meds or something like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Do you think there could be like a hybrid kind of like something where they have like real strong like free market stuff and communist stuff at the same time? Do you think that could kind of coexist, or do you think
capitalism still exists globally whether or not a country itself is communist, unless America decides it not to be so? You know what I mean? Like Cuba's a great example where Cuba outsources their doctors because their doctors are just knowledgeable. Granted, you can only what's the word? You need people to be knowledgeable for them to be doctors. So as long as you can teach them well, it doesn't matter necessarily how great your cars are. You know what I mean? And so they create really incredible doctors that way. And they still participate in the global economy. Their people are just better fed. They have medicine. They have school. Yada, yada, yada.
Interesting.
You know, it's like, I mean, quote unquote in American media apparatuses where it's like China is a communist regime, but they do fully function in the global.
Well, it's kind of like, I feel like it's like a misnomer. I feel like, I don't know. I mean, I don't fucking know shit. I've never been to China, dude. I don't. Well, then it's like, I don't know, because if you're in China, if you're a Chinese citizen, you're in China, they're telling you all this shit about the U.S. all day, and then if you're in the U.S., they're telling you all this shit about China all day.
They can go to the doctor, though.
And it's
they shouldn't. I mean, there.
I don't fucking know. I don't like. Who knows like what's actually going on? You know, it's like you can't really know like what's really going on in a country unless you've. Like,
I know people from China though.
Sure.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
Like
these eating.
Yeah, bro. They're not like
dope.
They don't.
People are definitely eating in America, but
like the internet is a great thing, man. Like it connects people,
right?
And like in terms of like answering your question, in terms of like can capitalism and communism like coexist or whatever, it's just part of the process of developing into further socialism or communism. You know,
right?
You have to assess the situation, look at the material conditions, determine whether or not you can, like for example, Mexico is a great example of like a mixed economy. And they're leaning more far left. Shout out Claudia Sheinbaum.
Yeah. Bro, just real quick, did you hear how many fucking of the candidates got assassinated on that too?
Yeah.
Bro, that shit's crazy,
for sure.
Bro.
100%. And a lot of them were in her party and stuff like that. These were not. Somebody was trying to tell me that it was presidential candidates. It's like, no, these are mayoral, like Congress, senators and stuff like that. Who are being killed by cartels, who are operating on the behest of far-right groups in Mexico. And by the way, this is true of any sort of like what would you say, criminal organizations or something like that, or terrorist groups and stuff. Like the Mujahideen were being employed by like far-right elements in their country and stuff like that, trained by the U.S. In Mexico. The cartels trained by the U.S., you know, and they work at the behest of far-right groups and stuff like that.
This is also true in Korea and Vietnam.
Right.
All of them. All of them. It's like
and Ireland.
Yeah, exactly. So what is it called? They don't like when leftists come in because they want to nationalize industries. Before AMLO came in, it was a different right-wing president, and what he wanted to do was privatize the energy sector. Yeah. So like Mexico has large deposits of oil,
zinc too, right? Yeah.
Lithium as well. And AMLO came in and reversed all of that bullshit because one of the ways that you can fund like public programs is through nationalization of industry. That's also
your natural resources and the land that you live on.
Yeah, that's the whole banana republic shit too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like Cuba was the same thing, man. Like there was like companies, American, that wanted to come in and take advantage of those natural resources. The same thing with what's happening in Mexico is like, that's why it's so dope that we have somebody like Claudia Sheinbaum to, nationalize the industries and continue that project forward,
I know, because I just heard about that. I was like, I don't know anything about. I'm like so disconnected from like whatever the hell is going on in Mexico. But like,
yeah, for sure, pay attention.
Yeah, that's just crazy, man.
It
like,
affects us.
And it's because of us most of the time.
Right. Well, and it's like, all the like war on drugs stuff. I mean, is the big part of the reason that the cartels are as powerful as they are.
And
dude.
Israel.
Yeah.
And
Israel. Well, that too, man. It's like, dude, and it's like it's almost. I mean, I think you're right. Like a lot of the time when it is like, in like South America or like whatever Eastern Europe, they're like, oh, we got to stop these communists. But it's like, it's more so just like, it doesn't even matter like what the ideology of whatever it is, but it's like, oh, Osama bin Laden was a freedom fighter in the 80s, and then they're just like, all right, we're gonna flip it, now he's the bad guy. It's like this fucking professional wrestling shit where it's just like, all right, now you're the heel, now you're the enemy. But it's like that shit happens over and over where it's like this, the CIA funds this whole operation. It's like, you guys are fighting for the right cause or whatever in this country. And then like a few years later, they're like, oh wow, it turns out like we gave you guys all these guns and shit, and now you're like being pieces of shit. It's like
corporate oligarchies have really controlled like the past like fucking 100 years and shit, and that's yeah.
I mean, you said the right side. Emphasis on right, capital R that shit, because it's just for capitalist interest, man. They purposefully put people, like they train people. Like Osama bin Laden was trained by the United States. He went to school here in the United States. You know what I mean?
Right.
He had a Wii.
I know. Where they found the memes that were left on Osama's. Real westernized guy.
Facts, man. Facts.
Or easternized, I guess. Hentai.
That's valid. Man,
Yeah, man, this shit's fucked up, man. And you should arm yourself with knowledge because it affects us even in our mundane lives. You know what I mean? How many people died in like the Iraq War? Because somebody had interests in the resources in the Middle East. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude. It's what's her fucking name? That one chick. It's like something Victoria. Oh fuck, what was her name? I think it was like Victoria Newland or whatever. She was like this. I don't even know. Her husband's like a big military, industrial, whatever guy. And they're talking about like how many people have died in Afghanistan or whatever, and then it's like, oh, do you think that was like she's like in an interview, and they're like, do you think that was justified? She's like, yeah, basically. Where it's like, oh, 500,000 people are like dead and starving or whatever. It's like that shit's all a fucking scam, dude. It's like, I don't know. It's like, what can you do, man? And it's like, it's funny because, right? I don't know exactly how old you guys are, but like,
how old are you?
I'm 29, and so like. We were like middle school when it was like all the Occupy Wall Street, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And it's, dude, because that, I think the government was like the most scared because it's like you had like all these like very like left-wing kind of socialist movements and also like libertarians and like Tea Party and like all this different shit, and they were all like, man, what the fuck's going on with the banks? Like there was kind of like a weird like unity that had never happened before with the Wall Street, and then they really cracked down on that shit. They're like, no, it's like, it's not Wall Street that you need to be concerned about. It's like they just start throwing all these other issues. It's like, not that like other things aren't important, but it's like, it's very easy to just get bogged down by like, it's like, oh, let's, get you guys to all argue about like race stuff and gender stuff and like all these different, not that it's not important, but it's like compared to like, oh, like all of this like wealth is just like being, transferred out of, our hands or whatever. Like, it's like that's kind of like a smaller fish to fry, but it's like, oh, it's way more beneficial for that class. But like, don't think about the fact that like there was like the huge bailouts and all that kind of shit. And it's like, dude, it's like, I don't know, because right now it's like, to me, I see like there's like Democrats and Republicans. It's like, dude, they're all basically the same fucking shit to me at this point, bro. And it's like, I don't know, but it's like I would so much rather have it be. It won't ever be, but it's like if I would rather see like socialists and like capitalists, like actual like like actual left wing and actual right people, like actually who have like different principles.
I mean, it happens.
It's like it would be cool to have them actually like debate instead of just being like what's it called? Like
I mean,
the
what's there to debate though? You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like debate is a bit of a social construct
Facts.
when we
Well,
start talking about like arguing in the marketplace of ideas versus
Bullshit.
like should people be eating?
Exactly.
You know, like it's that it usually
Right,
boils
but
down
it's
to
like,
that
what-
simple.
But it's like what I'm saying is like during that time, it's like both like the left and the right kind of like had their eye on the target of like what the hell's going on with the banks and the Wall Street, all that. They
Yeah.
might have had different ideas of like how to get to X, Y, or Z, but they were kind of like, all right, we're both identifying the same problem. You know what I mean?
The American perspective is always lacking the fact that we're just all poor people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it's always just that. And so, like, when it's the Tea Party and the left wing and however, whatever name we would like, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's all people that are trying to put food on their table. That's actually
Exactly.
also why, like, the Black Panthers appealed to anybody that wasn't
Right.
black. Because technically, it should just be like, I'm not black or a panther. Why would
Right.
I have anything to do with them? But
Right.
It's because actually, we're all human. We eat.
Right.
And every war, everything has just been built on the backs of us like wanting to steal natural resources. And most natural resources are either so we can eat, live, or is there anything, or like shelter ourselves.
Right. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, that's since the dawn of man,
Facts.
basically. That's just how it's always been, you
You
know,
know,
pre any ideas of economic
Like,
systems, you know.
nothing
it's
we
like,
add to the human experience is ever going to change that. Like,
Right.
no amount of technology or lack thereof will change that. We still need to eat and shelter ourselves
Yeah.
and all that type of stuff. And, like, that's why, I mean, debate is kind of, like, just this cyclical thing. That
Sure.
doesn't
Right.
really
I think
do much.
constructive, cooperative thinking, community thinking.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask too, just because I like your guys' perspectives on this stuff too. I don't,
Yeah.
I don't really just really think about it that much.
Sure, yeah.
Communism stuff. I mean, I went to school and I actually have a degree in history, but like I just don't really think about that much shit right now.
Did they
lately.
talk about it a lot?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I don't, I'm just trying to get other perspectives too.
Sure,
but
sure,
it was
sure.
pretty, because world history, you start, you get a lot of, you learn all the dirt about what everybody's done that's
Right.
really
Yeah.
bad,
Yeah.
and so for a minute I was like, oh, if you believe in communism, like you're fucking blah 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 blah. But I'm
Yeah.
like, no, I'm not trying to be like that. And that's the
Yeah.
point of the podcast
Sure,
too,
sure,
so
sure.
I love
Yeah.
hearing like your guys' perspective, because it's like, it's all about just, looking out for the people around you.
Yeah.
But I'm also curious too, because I'm like, what would be, one of the biggest arguments against communism is like, is the scale, the scope,
Yeah.
at what point do you think it would like function the best? Because I think a lot of people are like, yeah, of course, like a community taking care of itself and being on relatively equal terms, that's great.
Yeah.
But it's like, at what size does it become like almost like uncontrollable, I guess,
What's the worst, like, example of runaway communism, though?
Khmer Rouge, I'd probably say, is pretty ugly.
Khmer Rouge is an example of late-stage communism because, like, I'm trying to figure out how the scale is what created it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, that's more of a, like, I don't know. I'm just curious. I don't know.
for sure.
You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I don't
sure.
know. So
Those are the questions that I, like, tend to just immediately go to, too, because it's, like, when I think of, and also when we say communism, like, we're talking about leftism generally.
Yeah.
And, like, you know, I feel like it'd be a lot more likely that we would receive a democratic socialist change
Right,
in
right.
the way that we think. But also, like, we're progressing always towards, what's the word, a utopia is like what we would like to say. We want to create a system where people can exist without them having to starve. And it always
Healthcare.
boils down to that.
Yeah.
And that can't exist if we're focusing on our personal wealth. That only exists if we care about each other.
Communal.
And that's why communism starts with community. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And socialism is a focus on these social goods.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
Socialism is,
like,
that's what, because that's what a lot of people really want too. They want fucking healthcare that works,
Right.
cops that don't fucking kill people.
Right.
They want fucking, food to be accessible and stuff like that.
Yeah. I would like to, address what you said though. It like, this is a matter, we don't like any decent like Marxist, communist, scientific socialist. It doesn't deal in hypotheticals, bro.
Yeah.
Like we don't live in that nonsense like
like thought
imaginary world,
experiments.
So the idea is to approach every situation with a materialist perspective.
Right.
You know, does the situation demand this or does it demand that?
Right.
You know, and that is through an educated perspective, you know, which is why, like, one of the first things, like, some of the basis is, are people healthy? Are people fed? And are people educated?
Right.
You know what I mean? So you gotta, you first have to deal with those things, and then you can start addressing other shit. You know what I mean? Like, hypotheticals are cool. Debate is cool. You know, it's entertaining, but it's a waste of time.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it's funny because it's like a lot of people will say, you know, they say it to anyone who kind of is outside of the like box of like the Democrat Republican box, you know, whatever. Anarchists, socialists, whatever, you know,
Which agree on a lot of shit.
You know,
Yeah,
and
the sweatiest.
the sweatiest. I mean, you know, left wingers, right wingers, yeah. Fucking, you know,
Communism.
there's a lot, but it's like they'll come after fucking, you know, anybody who's like outside of the little like acceptable window
Facts.
of what you're allowed to think about. It's like it
Yeah.
has to be this argument between like, oh well, these guys want 34% tax and these guys want 37% tax, and it's just like you have to. But it's like oh really? It's like all these other people are fucking utopians, but then it's like look at what the fuck we have right now. It's like $36 trillion of debt or whatever, starting all these fucking wars across the world that we can't fucking. You know, let alone, you know, even just manage it all, like, let alone, like, win or whatever, you know, it's like, it's utopian to think that shit can work, you know what I mean? Where it's like,
Facts.
but it's like, anytime, like, if you're any kind of, like, you know, yeah, like, if you're, like, you know, anything outside of that, you're constantly, like, marginalized, and it's like, dude, and it's like, anything that they use to go after, like, far left people, it's like, they'll use it to go after far right people, too, like, they'll fucking, you know, they'll fucking, all the, like, the shit where it's like, I don't know, all these fucking groups, like, they'll fucking come after you on the fucking internet, you know, it's like, you're only allowed to be, like, within this little, like, tiny spectrum or whatever.
The Overton window.
Yeah.
Basically, like, you're right. Dialogue, like, conversation about politics is only held within a small box, you know, like, you're right. You can't, saying like what we're saying right now is absurd.
Because like right now, like, okay, I guess like the main example I'm thinking of with this was like, right, like a few years ago, you know, because there's always, you know, the people going on college campuses and college causing a fucking ruckus or whatever, right? And it's like, it used to be like, oh, like these college campuses are, you know, like there would be like right-wing people coming to colleges, and then it would be like a whole fucking thing because it's like, oh, these guys are fucking Nazis, they're anti-Semitic, blah, blah, blah. And then it's like, so then they start doing all these things. It's like, you know, oh, you can't do this, you can't say this, you can't do that. And it was like, oh, good, well, as long as we're stopping Nazis. But then now it's like you got all these left-wing college kids being like, you know, hey, look at what Israel's doing, it's wrong. And then it's like, you guys are, like, they're using the shit that they used against the right wing people. Now they're using it against the. It's like now they're coming for you too. You know what I mean? Where it's like, I don't know. It's like a fucking. It's just like a trap, dude. Because now it's like you can't criticize what a country was. You know what a country's doing.
I mean, no one's actually stopping you from anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, I mean, it just depends on how much we really want to stand on business. You know what I mean? Like, are we really? Are we standing on something, or are we just saying words? Are we actually showing up, or are we just like thinking about what would be nice? And like, you know, just like in what we would call the civil rights movement, niggas was standing on business and went to jail. Like, we can't really act like that isn't also in our future, that we're not really down to stand on business for the people around us that are marginalized. And if we're not, then, you know, whoever that is, they could shut the fuck up and stay inside, because that's not helpful. That's what got Martin Luther King shot. You know?
Fucking
standing on business, man.
Right? You know, it's not comfortable. It's necessary. So it's like that's kind of the biggest, what's the word, like combat to nihilism, is just like recognizing that it's not all about me enjoying whether or not things matter. It's about things being better for whoever's kids I can help. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All that type of shit.
Well, dude, that is like a major problem. What's the fucking quote, dude? I'm gonna butcher it. Where it's like, I don't even know. It's like you have to. I forget the quote, but it's like you have to plant the seeds, or you have to plant the seeds for the tree of whatever the shade. You won't. You don't get to sit in the shade of the tree now. You know what I mean? But like someone 100 years from now will be able to.
Hey man, we couldn't sit in this room if it wasn't for the people planting seeds earlier. You know?
Right?
Exactly.
No,
Like,
exactly.
I'm black, you Mexican, you white, right? Is
Yeah.
that right?
Yeah.
I'm an Islander, and you. Who you were?
Mexican,
Me-
a bunch of stuff.
You feel me? Like,
yeah.
you know, half of us don't exist if
Right.
it's not for the seeds that were planted earlier. And like,
Word.
I would like to believe there's better. So, you know,
Yeah.
I got to do the same thing on my Johnny Appleseed shit.
Right.
People really die for this shit, man. For
Man.
us to sit in a room and talk to each other like as equals and shit, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it is important to like arm yourself with knowledge and courage.
Word.
You know?
Oh yeah, guys.
This is a good like serious talk, dude.
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah, no.
usually we're fucking like goofing around super hard, but like it's
To be-
cool.
Also, your music will suck if you don't go read a fucking book.
Right?
Yeah,
That's true.
yeah.
Yeah.
Put yourself on your fucking ass and like acknowledge that you don't know everything.
Right.
And like be humble with that, because like you don't really have anything to say if everything you're saying is something that you've heard before. If it was on
Right.
a reel, if it was on a,
Right.
if it was sensationalized, you know.
Totally.
Like real unique, personal introspection and wisdom can't come without like a personal
Right.
journey.
Well, dude, that's what's dope about music too. Is like a lot of people will, you know, it's like if they feel one type of way politically, they, you know, you can go on fucking social media and just like talk your shit all day or whatever, just in a conversational way or just like in a monologue type of way.
Yeah.
But if you write something about something you feel strongly about and you put it in a song, it's like you as the artist might interpret it one way, but someone who thinks differently from you might interpret it in a different way. Or it's like, it's not just like it's like, it's something that can connect in a universal way. Like, you know, it's like someone might write a song about like a loved one that passed away or whatever. And then it's like
Right.
someone else hears that song and they're like, oh man, I'm thinking about my dog or whatever, you
Right.
know, like
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
that's what's dope about it, where it's like you can get like you can talk your shit and like, but it's like without like turning a bunch of people off. Because if you know if fucking Rage Against the Machine went up on stage, I mean they probably do sometimes, but they really just like go on like a whole diatribe of like you know political shit like
for sure.
before
Yeah.
the show. It's like a bunch of people are gonna be like you know, like it's like I just came here to fucking rock, you know, or it's like
Right.
whatever, System of a Down or whatever, like bands like that. It's like, but it's like if you put that shit in a song, it's
Yeah.
like that's
a
where you can
vehicle.
like lit shit, you know.
I was gonna say too. I don't think we'll ever get something like System of a Down like on the radio again. Like something so overtly like political while still being just
Radio's
like
about to go
commercial.
down. Like,
like
I
the
think
radio,
whatever the
yeah.
next thing that the radio is, we about to have the same type of leftist radical shit too.
Hell yeah.
On Radio 2, bro. They're about to drop Radio 2.
Whatever it is,
Hell
yeah,
yeah.
literally.
The update.
Yeah, the sequel.
The sequel.
Well, it's just so interesting now because it's like with Spotify, I mean, like you can be like a niche celebrity now, where it's like before, it's like if you were either on the radio or you weren't on the radio, and it's like you might have like a local following or whatever, and that's
Right.
that's like when you go to certain cities or when you look at their record shops or whatever, it's like you'll see like certain obscure bands from that area
Right.
in all those record shops, but it's like it doesn't disperse around the world in the same way, where it's like now it's like if you're on Spotify, someone in fucking Bangladesh can be like, yo, this is a banger. Like it's kind of insane like how that works, where it's like you just like sometimes you see
Shout
like
out Bangladesh.
yeah, sometimes you see
Shout out
fucking great customer service. Sometimes you see sometimes you see, you know, shit where like or it's just like, yeah, you'll go on Instagram and you'll see like some like what's that, like the Vietnamese guy that sings, you know,
Oh,
you just
Soi
go,
Tiet, bro, the
31,
goat.
32, that guy. It looks
Yeah.
like,
That dude's
dude, I
fire.
would have never have
He's
gotten to
dope.
see that guy.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, facts. I mean, it goes back to the point I made earlier about technology's dope. It's
Yeah.
who has control over it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, great, I'm being heard in Bangladesh, but if I have under 1,000 plays on Spotify,
You're not getting shit,
I'm not
buddy.
gonna get shit.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Well,
fuck you.
And it's so like
And
it's
fuck you.
so
That's how it be,
fucking
bro. And fuck you.
it's crazy how like, you know, like a few years ago it was like Trump was trying to ban TikTok and it was like a whole thing. It's like, well, it's because the Chinese have your data and whatever, right? And then it's like,
Yeah.
but now it's like Biden's trying to ban. Well, and
Yeah.
it's like at the same time, it's like all the Democrats, well, are you trying to ban TikTok? Oh, you're a fascist, whatever. And then it's like now Biden's trying to ban TikTok.
He's still a
and it's
fascist.
really, but it's like, but it's like
both-
really the only
Both times they were lies.
Sure.
technically, you know.
Right,
what I
and it's
mean?
like, and it's like, but now it's because on TikTok, you can see a kid get run over by a tank. You can
Exactly.
see fucked up shit on there.
It's like Lively Part Two.
Yeah, no, it is. It is
Yeah.
like, or like back in
Shout
the
out
day. I
Lively.
mean, our generation, dude. I
Actually,
feel like
not
we
shout
talk
out
about
Lively.
this.
That
No,
bitch sucks.
yeah, that shit's crazy.
No, yeah.
World Star. Where it's like you would see so much crazy shit on the internet
sure.
before it got like all like like shut down and restricted.
Right.
Where it's like. You're not gonna see that shit. Like pretty much the only places that you'll see like really crazy shit like as it's happening, like war footage or things like that is like TikTok or like maybe Twitter, and then but Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. It's like that shit's on fucking.
We gotta
lock,
get off
dude.
of all of it, honestly.
Yeah.
Go on like the news, Al Jazeera or Democracy Now, like, because Facebook is what got us into this. For
Yeah,
a good
yeah.
chunk of our issues, you know what I mean?
Well, and again, that goes back to like where it's like, a corporation is able to control like what media is being input to you, and it's
Yeah.
based on what your interactions have been.
Yeah.
And then it's like they do get more money by you being on the platform
Right.
longer, pissed off, arguing with somebody else.
Yeah.
And
And meanwhile, you're still inside. You know what I mean? Like your whole community's outside, and that's something to really like capitalize on. Is that there's material things outside and
Like
there's digital things on here. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But it's like it's like the most positive and most negative thing about the internet is like it does bring people together. Where it's like if you were like if you're in the 90s and you're like, I think I'm a furry, or you're like, I don't even know what that is. You know what? Like that wasn't even like known as a thing yet. You're just like, I don't know. I just really want to put on an animal suit. But like most people would be like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude?
Yeah,
but now
that
it's
is-
like, but it's like no matter what thing you're into, you can find like at least 10,000 people on the internet that are like, totally, man, me too. But it's like that could be anything. Like it could be good or bad. You'd be like, yeah, like
We're
Yeah.
kind of like music furries.
What happened?
We're kind of like music furries.
Music furries?
Why don't you guys get into that real quick? Yeah, explain what you mean there.
Music furries. Well, there's only so many musicians, and there's only so many people that are really like doing the thing. You know what I
facts.
mean? And like
in terms of doing the thing.
in terms of doing the
Okay,
thing,
yeah,
so,
right,
you
right.
play some guitar.
The
and,
craft.
Like, there's only so many people playing guitar. You put on a fursuit. I am not one of them, but there's a couple people that probably also put on
Facts.
fursuits. Shout out furries. No disrespect to furries.
shout out to Guar. I feel
Yeah.
like they're low key.
Yeah, Guar's cute alien furries.
Who is that?
They're like a metal band who wore costumes.
Oh shit.
They're,
Yeah,
they're aliens
dude,
though.
Guar.
Metal furry, bro.
I mean,
metal
dude,
furries.
I feel like,
That'd be a good band.
dude, and I feel like that shit was all predictive programming too, dude. Fucking Lion King, bro. Fucking Jessica
King
Jessica
predictive
Rabbit.
furries.
Come on, like that shit was all like,
Jessica Rabbit's a human though.
man, you know.
Is she?
Yeah, right.
I guess true.
Nah.
Okay.
She's all legs, man.
All right,
don't know.
fine. Space Jam 1, Lola Bunny.
All right, there we
Is she
go.
a human?
Lola Bunny.
Actually, I think
so.
no. Actually, you're right. That's what I'm not thinking of Jessica Rabbit. I'm thinking of Lola Bunny.
There you go. There you go.
Different thing.
Watch out for
Anyways,
this guy when you think about Lola Bunny, man.
Nothing, dude. Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Not after they
Man.
fucking. Not
Look.
after what they did to her in
And
Space
that's
Jam
what
2,
Legends is
dude.
about. It's all about progression.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We all start somewhere.
right.
That's right.
Hell yeah.
Facts.
Well, we are got about 10 minutes left until we cut it off on any given episode. You guys got any final words for the people here? Any fucking things you want to get to?
Nah. I mean, oh yeah. We do have a show at Secret Compound on July 12th.
Yeah.
July 12th. We're gonna be performing. DM Alan Zapata for the info. Apart from that, we've been working on a collaborative project. Well, I have and Sac Bass has, and Isaiah has been part of it. That's going to be dropping pretty soon. Sac Bass presents collaborative effort, featuring like 12, 15 artists, dude. So
Hell yeah.
we're excited about that. I don't know, man. Hug your mom. You know what I'm saying? Hug somebody that you love. Let them know that they're not alone. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, man.
Drink water. Eat vegetables.
Fiber.
Don't jerk it too many times, bro. Go outside.
Retain.
But on the real, like, go outside and be a part of something. Go to neighbor program
Neighbor
if
program.
you're hungry.
Word.
If you spend money on groceries, you could spend less, and all you have to do is be a part of your community. And they give out meat, eggs, all types of shit. Wabi, you got a good box out of
Oh
it.
yeah, for sure. I ate for a week.
And I'm a communist, so I don't got no money, so I didn't pay him to say that. So like,
Yeah.
you know, so like go do that shit and pay attention to what's going on today. Try not to numb your mind too much, but take a break every now and then too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hang out with your friends.
Shout out all my friends at East Bay. Shout out my girlfriend, and shout out the way on Jay. And if y'all need guitar lessons, hit me up.
Yeah, hell yeah, guys.
Real quick. Yeah, shout out Sack Bass, man. Shout out CSSB. Shout out y'all. Shout out my mom for bringing me to this world. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out Joaby's mom.
Shout out my mom, man. God damn it, I'm gonna like punch myself over this shit later. Man. I'm like, oh my god, what am I fucking?
You didn't shout out enough people.
Yeah,
Don't worry.
If you didn't get shouted out, assume that you're shouted out.
Probably some artists that y'all should look out for. You should look out for Nelly.
Nelly.
Nelly about to be fire, coming out on the scene.
Annabelle.
Shout out Hayla V. Shout out Annabelle. Shout out Gabby Baba. Who else do we work?
Kifa.
Kifa. Shit, man.
Low V.
Oh yeah.
Low V.
Shout out
Grove.
Grove, yeah, Grove's a homie.
Grove's a homie.
Yo.
Shout out Yvette Wave.
Yvette Wave.
Kaya Love.
Yo.
All my students. Everybody I forgot.
Yeah.
Fuck y'all.
Sorry. I was really right about to say. Sorry, guys.
Hell yeah. Well,
No, we stand on that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
and
uncomfortable and it's business.
and y'all can catch my band, the Gold Souls, at Torch Club on Thursday.
Period.
Thursday the 13th.
Don't get too drunk. Don't get a little drunk. Throw some money at them.
We only get a couple free ones anyways.
Yeah.
Well, hell yeah, guys. We said this was going to be a Sigma episode, bro. I feel like it was a pretty intellectually Sigma episode.
Sigma.
Smarter, yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
My brain's mewing, bro.
Brain posture.
What's mewing?
We'll talk about it after.
Yeah.
Is it like a furry thing or something?
In some communities, yes.
I don't know.
All right, guys. Cool. Well, thank you so much, everybody that tuned in. Thank you so much again, guys, for coming on.
Yeah.
And,
Free
yeah,
Palestine, free take care.
Free Palestine.
for real.
Hell yeah.
All right, y'all. We're out of here.
Catch y'all next time.
Peace.